In 80 plus days, you ever seen an administration so racked with error, so racked with mistakes and screw ups to the Trump administration? I mean, they're circling the drain of history as one of the most inept administrations we've ever seen. This is Herbert Hoover too. And this guy was president once before. And now we've got the latest example. The dog ate my Harvard. You believed my letter where we said we're going to cut off $9.2 billion worth of aid to Harvard University for all of their medical and technology research? You believe the letter that we sent on the 11th on letterhead signed by 3 major officials in the Trump organization? No, that letter was sent by accident. Except they waited a week to say it was sent by accident. And at the same time, they're circling the sharks around Harvard University at the Trump administration, claiming that they're going to, audit them at the Internal Revenue Service. Hard to do when you've lost your 3rd IRS director in 2 weeks. We're going to get to the bottom of your foreign donations. Well, we filed all of our forms on time. We're going to look at your student body and all the people you're taking in here with some sort of student visa. Okay. And here's my favorite part on this hot take for the MeidasTouch network. It's your fault. What do you mean? Spokesperson for the Trump administration. It's professional and legal malpractice for the lawyers for the Harvard University to have just victimized themselves and not checked in with us after they got the letter to see if it was sent in error. An error? This is a typo? This 3-page letter signed by these 3 people? And I got more news for you. The law firm that you claim committed professional malpractice is Donald Trump's own law firm. The Trump organization uses the same firm and the same guy to do their ethics evaluation. Good luck between the Trump organization in New York and the Trump administration in Washington. Wow. You're here on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Let's get to the Harvard scandal. I mean, the Trump scandal about Harvard. So we reported about a week ago that the Trump administration, as part of its going after higher education, getting rid of the Department of Education that could protect anybody, getting rid of effectively the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice by putting a lackey in for Donald Trump that doesn't believe in civil rights. So you get rid of those 2, you disarm the government, and then you go after, just like you did so successfully, unfortunately, with my own profession, law firms, you go after, higher education. Okay. And you make them get rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion program. You don't let them use it to supplement or to promote their education environment, their student body, their faculty. You shut down students on campus. You shut down all these things. You turn over departments like the Divinity School at Harvard, apparently, that are practicing DEI, and all under the false flag of we're trying to fight anti-Semitism. I'm all about fighting anti-Semitism. I did not like many of the ways that the universities handled the protests against Israel on campus. Okay, that's just me. But I am a defender of the First Amendment, and I am a believer that we are a better people because of the marketplace of ideas includes those ideas that we might find offensive. As long as it doesn't cross the line, as long as they're not really supported by terrorist organizations, if it's just uncomfortable speech, I'm for it. Okay. And I'm a card-carrying member of the American Civil Liberties Union when it comes to that. So on one hand, the Trump administration is sending out press releases every day about Harvard. We're going after you with an IRS audit. We may try to take away your not-for-profit status. What did they think one of the most, if not the most prestigious university in America, one of the oldest universities in America, one of the ones where many federal judges count that they're the alumni of, or the alumna of, either in the law school, which is top 5 in the country, or the undergraduate program. I mean, you can't shake a stick at the United States Supreme Court or federal appellate courts without hitting a Harvard law grad or a Harvard grad. And if it's not that, it's Yale, and they've all banded together. So what did you think was going to go happen? Somebody once said, I think it was Joe Pulitzer, he said, you don't pick a fight with somebody that pays for or buys ink by the barrel. You don't pick a fight with a university that has a preeminent law school. But they did. And they threatened them to cut off $9 billion worth of funding, $2 billion now, and another $60 million in contracts. And having received this letter, which Donald Trump now says was a typo, it's a 3-page letter. I'm going to read it to you. What did you think Harvard was going to do? They hired Quinn Emanuel, Donald Trump and the Trump Organization's law firm, the same guy, to fire back. Here's the letter. Remember, spokesperson for the Trump administration said out loud that it was legal malpractice for the Harvard lawyers to think this letter was real. Okay, it's on letterhead. It's addressed to Dr. Alan Garber, the president of Harvard University, and Penny Pritzker of the Harvard Corporation, which sort of runs everything related to there. Dated April 11th, on letterhead, signed wet signature, not auto-scribe, by Josh Grunbaum, the Commissioner of the Federal Acquisition Service, General Services Administration, Tom Wheeler, Acting General Counsel, means he's a lawyer, of the U.S. Department of Education, and Sean Kaveen, Acting General Counsel, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. You get the letter. The letter says that within less than 4 months, you have to change everything of the face of the university. You have to change your governance and leadership structure. You have to change your student discipline structure. You've got to adopt new policies about student groups and clubs. You've got to get rid of your diversity, equity, inclusion. You have to reform programs listen to this, reform programs with egregious records of anti-Semitism or other bias. And it starts with the divinity school. We're going after the clergy now. The Graduate School of Education, the School of Public Health, the Medical School, the Religion and Public Life Health Program, the Carr Center for Human Rights, the Center for Middle Eastern Studies, the International Human Rights Clinic. Let's get rid of all of them. And if you don't do it, it's a threat out loud that you're going to lose your funding or get IRS audited or have or audited for fraud related to you taking in foreign donations without transparency. All a lie, by the way. So they get the letter on the 11th, April 11th. So when did Donald Trump and his administration announce that this April 11th letter, which was responded to on April the 14th by the law firm that represents Donald Trump, when do you think the Trump administration declared that this letter from them was sent in error? What do you think? On the 11th night? On the 12th? On the 13th? Well, certainly on the 14th or thereafter, after they got the letter, right? No. They did it yesterday, on the 18th. So they send the letter on the 11th, and it takes them 7 days to come up with the story that the dog ate their Harvard? So who's to blame? Quinn Emanuel and King & Spalding, two major law firms, on April the 14th, writing back to the very sames, Messrs. Greenbaum, Kaveny, and Wheeler. Dear Messrs. Greenbaum, Kaveny, and Wheeler, we represent Harvard University and everybody that you wrote to. Harvard is committed to fighting anti-Semitism. It is unfortunate then that your letter disregards Harvard's efforts and instead presents demands that, in contravention of the First Amendment, invade university freedoms long recognized by the Supreme Court. The government's terms also circumvent Harvard's statutory rights by requiring unsupported and disruptive remedies for alleged harms that the government has not proven through a mandatory process. No less objectionable is the condition first made explicit in a prior letter that Harvard accede to these terms or risk the loss of billions of dollars of federal funding critical to vital research and innovation that has saved and improved lives and allowed Harvard to play a central role in making our country's scientific, medical, and other research communities the standard bearers for the world. Sounds terrible. This letter, it says Harvard remains open to a dialogue, but Harvard is not prepared to agree to demands that go beyond the lawful authority of this or any administration. Signed, William A. Burke, Quinn Emanuel. Same William A. Burke, who's the managing partner of Quinn Emanuel, who represents the Trump administration and does all their ethics counseling. Under a deal, I'm sure. There's no way Quinn Emanuel would have taken the ethics counsel position for the Trump administration by agreeing not to sue the Trump administration in the future. And obviously, they've done it. So now they decide to fire back at Quinn Emanuel, one of the leading trial law firms in the country. If I had an issue and I need a co-counsel, I would bring in, and I have brought in the past, Quinn Emanuel in my prior life. Then this is the way you go after it. It's your fault. Harvard's victimizing itself. All they had to do was pick up the phone and we would have told them the letter was sent in error. Error? Like, what do you mean? Like it was in draft and it wasn't approved and it was sent by accident? So you have to write this letter. You have to circulate this letter. You have to revise this letter. You have to get approval for this letter. You got to get people to put pretty letterhead on the top of this letter. You got to sign this letter with your pen. You got to send it to the people internal to the Trump administration and say it went. And it took 7 days and 4 days after the law firm for Harvard fired back for you to say, it was all just a big screw up, another mistake. How many screw ups are we going to tolerate for this administration? Talk about malpractice. DOJ fires the nuclear safety workers that are responsible for securing our nuclear arsenal. The 5 top people in the administration add a journalist to their Signal chat group while they're discussing war plans before a bombing run against the Houthis in the Suez Canal region. They have 3 IRS directors in the last 3 weeks. They started a tariff war they can't finish, and that they put a stop to after Donald Trump watched cable TV, and they deported and removed somebody to an El Salvadoran jail that they knew had an order to prevent the removal, and are now in a fight with the Supreme Court that they can't win. Harvard is the least of their problems. But they thought, well, we got Columbia, we got Penn, we got others. We're doing well. Let's keep going. We got $1 billion from law firms. Let's keep going. You picked the fight with the wrong Harvard University and the wrong law firm in Quinn Emanuel on the other side. Look, I'm going to continue to follow what happens next in the saga for Harvard, but my money, therefore yours, should be on Harvard University. So I'm glad you're here on Legal AF. Look, I'll make it really simple. This is a plea. I'm not on bended knee, but I'm getting close. Hit the subscribe button. Help us continue to grow this pro-democracy channel. Then you'll get notifications whenever we hit a new video, which is every hour here on Legal AF at the intersection of law and politics. Help us grow to 1 million. We want to hit it before our 1-year anniversary in September. We will at the rate we're going, but only with your help. And tune into the Legal AF podcast as well, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.